Hey everyone, welcome back to Chewing the Fat with Hungry Hussey. I am the Hungry Hussey, Matthew Hussey. Welcome back. I have a great program today. A little bit different, not so much of a content creator, but this is an actual fan of the channel. Today we're talking with Tyler Payne. And one thing cool about Tyler, he's a magician and he might have some tricks up his sleeve. But most of all, we want to see how he kind of came into being a fan of the channel, being a fan of cooking, and most of all, just chewing the fat. Tyler, welcome to the show. I appreciate you being on, my friend. How you been?
I've been doing good, sir. Thank you for having me. It's a true pleasure. And yeah, I could definitely do some magic for you today.
Yeah. The folks on the Spotify and the Apple podcast, they'll have to go over to the YouTube to see the video of you doing the magic. So,
No
but
worries.
maybe that'll be a good way to drive folks over there.
Yeah.
Um, So yeah, I appreciate you. You reached out to me. I really was interested in your story. You said, Hussey, I have a really interesting story. I think you would like. You helped me out, and for me, I just feel like I'm just standing out there, just blabbing my old stupid gums, and just being who I am, But we'll talk about that a little bit later. We want to get into some background of Tyler Payne. You and I spoke just a little bit previously. So for those of you who don't know, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what you do, which is pretty cool. We actually have a little bit in common there. And how you first got into cooking, magic, or even how you got into viewing the Hungry Hussey channel most of all. So yeah, just what's your background?
Yeah. Boy, do I have a lot to share with you. First off, Tyler Payne. I'm from California, born and raised here in California. I have been to your side of the country a couple times, and
Yeah.
my day job, I'm a health and safety professional for a large Fortune 500 company, and I've been in the safety industry for over 10 years. And I'm also a professional magician. I've been doing magic since I was 10 years old. I wasted the first 10 or 9 years of my life, but
Yeah, yeah.
you know,
Sometimes it's the way it goes.
yeah, yeah. I got two boys. I have an 11-year-old and a one that just turned 5. And
Okay.
yeah, and the age gap is it's so big now. The 11-year-old doesn't care about the young one, and the young one just
Yeah,
wants everything to do with him.
yeah.
It's just kind of the way that works. But
It's kind of heartbreaking. I got the same age gap. You said you had 11. I didn't know. I didn't ask you about the other one, but that's my girl. She's 10, and my boy, he's 6. And
yeah,
so yeah, it's kind of the same way, but we make them try to behave to one another. It's
right.
tough.
Yeah, I mean, my oldest, he's nice to him by all means. He's a sweetheart to kids, but
Sure.
they just don't have common interests. My older
Preteen.
one,
Yeah.
yeah, my older one is starting to care about girls at 11 years old. I'm like, what?
Oh boy.
Uh, yeah, but um,
Hey, that happens.
yeah, I've been doing magic for the better part of my life, and my professional career has been surfaced around safety. But the reason I feel like talking to you today is important is because I truthfully just wanted you to realize that even if we come from two different sides of the world, we come from two different occupations, if you will. I mean, you essentially cook for a living now, right? Um,
Yeah, I still have a regular job that I have. I sell electrical equipment now, but yeah, I still have a 9 to 5. But yeah, I do a lot of cooking too. Yeah.
yeah, and I do a lot of cooking too. It's just not in front of a camera. But
Yeah.
I wanted to share some stories with you and how I
Yeah.
discovered you and things like that.
We'll get to that. That's the meat. That's the meat of the
Oh yeah.
the interview there. So, you've always liked cooking, or you just do it just to survive? Do it. Do you love it? Do you despise it, or is
I
it?
I love the creative process of cooking. I do
Yeah.
not like cooking when it feels like a chore.
Yeah.
But if I had it my way, and if I didn't have all the other tangibles I got to deal with, just like you got to deal with also raising a family and spending time with the wife, and you're trying to do all that. Now cooking seems a little like, oh man, I got to go cook now. But
Yeah.
truthfully, I love the creative process of cooking, and I still cook all the time, all
Yeah.
the time.
Cool. So,
Truth,
man, go ahead.
truthfully, sorry. My wife, bless her heart, she doesn't cook. She would, but she's just not a
Yeah.
great cook. So I do like 99% of the cooking.
Yeah, I can. My wife, she can cook and she can cook good. She don't
Yeah.
give herself enough credit. She says I'm intimidating in the kitchen, but I don't know what that means. But I do a lot of the cooking too. But she can and will cook, and she does a good job at it. So I don't, like I said, she don't give herself enough credit. But
It's
um,
probably the case with my wife too. My wife can do anything she tries, but I just
yeah,
don't think she has a love for it like you and I.
yeah, I kind of do. But I think that's my love language. I think my love language is just cooking for people, seeing people happy. Now I just hate to clean up, afterwards. But acts of
Yeah,
services, I think acts of service is my kind of my love language, and so I think that's just what I do to kind of show my love.
yeah, yeah. Very, very fair.
Yep, yep. So how did you get into cooking? Did you just because you just like that creative? You just started kind of getting in, just kind of dilly dallying around, and it's like, oh, I kind of like this, or somebody introduced you to it, or how did you get into cooking?
I used to watch my mom cook all the time when I was younger. I was pretty
Yeah.
close with my mom up until I was maybe about 15 years old or so. I was pretty close with my mom.
Okay.
And I would watch her, and we were balling on a budget. We
Yeah.
didn't have very much more than two pennies rubbed together, and so that is actually where I learned to be innovative and creative and make something out of nothing. Just like you've made SOS probably a dozen times that I've seen on your channel, and that comes from just a typical, you know, middle class, lower class household, and you learn to make something taste good. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. A lot
and
of beans, a lot of taters, for
a
sure.
lot of yeah, we'd have fried bologna sandwiches. I mean, all the stuff that you've made, especially early on in your channel, I
Yeah.
grew up on that stuff. And yeah, so
Yeah.
that's really where I learned to cook, truthfully.
A fried bologna's a delicacy these days. That's
Oh
crazy.
man,
What it's like people are, all hail the bologna now. They're doing these whole chubs. I did a whole chub the other day. Did burn ends out of them.
yeah, I
So
saw
it's it's,
that.
it's crazy. But used to it was just a nice fried bologna sandwich. It was a treat. It was
Yeah,
cheap. It's not cheap anymore, man.
I know it. You can still make fried potato sandwiches pretty good.
Boy,
You
them
know,
tater sandwiches, they slap, boy. Fried tater
oh
sandwich with some
man,
onions and some mayonnaise on that bread. Dang, boy.
oh man, yeah.
My
It's
mama
carb. You're putting
loved it.
carbs on carbs, but man, it's
Yeah, it got you through. It got you
yeah.
through. So that's pretty cool. Very similar to me. I helped my mom. I watched my mom a lot. My dad was a truck driver. He was gone a lot, and then I helped too. And so that's kind of where I began too. It's pretty cool. We're sharing a lot of stuff, a lot of cool features here.
Yeah,
Magic. So this is the wild thing, right? Like, where did the magic come in?
you know, I got bit by the magic bug when I was just a kid,
Yeah.
about my son's age now, about 10 or 11 years old, and I had a cousin showed me a card trick, and I it drove me bonkers. It drove me bonkers. I didn't believe in magic. I didn't believe in the like. I knew there was a trick to it. It drove me insane, and he
Trying to
wouldn't tell
figure it
me.
out.
He wouldn't tell me, and I went to my room and I opened up a deck of cards and I figured it out. I figured it out and I fell in love with that creative process.
Mm.
I love methods of magic more than I do like the
Nice.
outcomes, the
Yeah.
effects. Yeah. So I selfishly do magic for me, as bad as that sounds, but I love the creative process of it. And yeah, that's all she wrote. I've been doing it ever since.
That's cool. My son, he loves. Well, I think both of my kids. I think all kids kind of they see these magic tricks and they want to try to replicate it, you know. And my son, the other day, was doing one for me where he had like two solo cups and he had like a cutout on the back side of one, and you know he'd do this. You know he could like stick his finger in one and bring it up, and you know he got me one of them. But one of them he bobbled he bobbled the inside a little bit. I was like, oh.
Oh man, yeah, I've done some stuff like that for sure.
Yeah. Oh man, that's cool. Well, very good, man. And so you said you were about 6 or 11 for whenever you started. Which son did you say that? Which son's age?
My oldest.
The oldest,
My
11.
oldest.
Okay.
Yeah,
I gotcha.
and just to give a little more to that too, just so you can kind of understand the level is I mean I've opened up for Carlos Mencia. Carlos Mencia, I mean he's he's not as famous as he used to be, but at one point he was he was a celebrity stand-up comedian. He had that show on TV called Mind and Mencia. It's not really everybody's type of comedy, but hey, they asked me if I wanted to open, and I was a starving artist.
Yeah.
So I opened, and I've been to the Hollywood Magic Castle. Yeah,
wow.
Magic Castle. Yeah,
dude. I mean, going to trade shows, for work. They always would hire, some kind of magician, to come and do things, and it was always pretty wild, just to see what kind of things folks can do. I can't figure it out. I watch, and I'm like, I can't figure it out. It's just like you were whenever you were trying. It's wild. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, the type of magic that I like is where there's really no trick to it. I'm telling you I'm doing something and I'm actually doing it. I've worked my butt off to do it. I like feats of skill, you know.
It's got to take some skill. It's got to. I mean, a lot of practice, a lot of skill, and to get to that. You ever thought about could being a magician replace your 9 to 5?
Unless somebody came to me and said, you know what, Tyler, I can make you a millionaire tomorrow.
Yeah.
No. I mean, I'm so blessed in my 9 to 5 to where I can use magic almost daily. Yeah. I teach a lot. I also teach occupational safety and risk management at California University here, nice. Where I live. And so I use that as part of my teaching methods a lot.
Yeah. That makes it nice because, sometimes, I'm not saying me, I get into this rut where it's like, oh man, I don't feel like going cooking. Sometimes you just don't want to feel like it. Either the weather sucks or just there's a lot of time constraints, and it kind of keeps keeps you at it kind of being a hobby and something that you love doing, and not a job or a chore, something that you dislike after a while. So it kind of keeps it nice where you still love it, and enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah. Very true. Very true. Yeah. I'm super blessed to be able to use it the way I do.
Yeah. I'm interested, man. I want to come sit in on one of your classes. That's what I want to do. I think that would be fun. I can see it could really bring people and, we've all been through those lectures and those classes, and especially when you're talking about, safety standards and things like that. It can be kind of boring, but throwing a magic trick or two, it keeps people captivated for a long time.
Yeah. I was on the other side of the fence before I was full-time into safety, and I hated sitting through classes and lectures. And
it's boring.
They're boring. And I'll be the first to tell you, I'd fall asleep too.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so I didn't take it personal,
Yep.
When I was young. I didn't take it personal. I did what I could to keep it entertaining. I have a big keynote coming up, a keynote speech coming up for the American Society of Safety Professionals, and I'll be doing magic there too. I have a lecture that I titled "The Magic in Safety."
Nice. That's a really good title there. Yeah. Man, that's awesome. I feel like that would be so cool. I'm mesmerized, man. You are a fan of the Hungry Hussey channel, which I really do appreciate. I can't think, there's a lot of people that's been, with me probably since I've started. And some people they just come out of the blue, never comment ever. And it's like, wow, you've been lurking for 8 years, and I'm just now, and so it's kind of crazy. It just depends on, I might say something that triggers them, like, oh, I've been following you ever since you was at your old house, and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So I just want to say thank you. Most of all, folks like you is the reason why I keep doing it, and I love it. I think it's my love language, my acts of service. So,
Mm-hmm.
so how did you first stumble upon the channel, and what reeled you in? Or was it the recipe, something stupid I said? What kind of said, this guy, I kind of like this guy.
Yeah. I discovered you mid to late 2019. Yeah, so you were still at your old house. You
Yeah,
still
yeah.
you still had a rear grease management Blackstone. You had the OG Blackstone, 36 inch.
Front grease. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
front grease, and you had the old school Blackstone surround.
Man,
Um,
I love that setup, man. That was the best setup ever.
yeah, I mean, I discovered you because I saw a Blackstone at Walmart, and I was
Okay.
like, huh. I did what everybody typically does. YouTube it, Google it,
Yeah.
Blackstone, and you were the first thing that came up, and I watched you before I ever watched Todd Tobin or those two twin brothers. Like you're the OG for me. You're
Yeah.
you're the
That's awesome.
OG, and what really drew me in, I got to be honest with you, is you reminded me so much of my uncle. My uncle was my best friend, man.
Okay.
He was my best friend. He passed away when I was a teenager, and
Sorry.
uh, just the way you guys talk. I mean, everything. The way you guys, your humor. Your
Yeah.
the way you cook, the way, I mean, everything. It just reminded me of my Uncle Larry, and
Yeah.
just the stuff that you made too. Were just recipes that I grew up on. That's how I initially discovered you, and
Yeah. That's awesome.
just like you alluded to earlier, it was just I felt like I was around the kitchen table with with my uncle and
Yeah.
my family
Yeah.
again. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. That's that's nice. Thanks for sharing. I'm sorry too. I know it's been a while, but sorry for your loss. We always have that one uncle or aunt that we just kind of click with, and
yeah,
those are hard pills to swallow whenever they go down, for sure. Yeah.
yeah. They are. Yeah, they are. But I gotta say, Hussey, man, you got me, and frankly, my wife through some pretty crazy times in our life. Yeah,
Yeah, you had mentioned that, and that was probably not to say I don't want to air nobody's laundry out or anything. And whenever you said you wanted to, that I was like, man, I really want to hear that, because man, I tell you, just folks struggle, all the time,
yeah,
man. And you see it every day. And, if you have a problem and if you have it, somebody else probably is going through something, and maybe they could find peace and find help, and
hmm
saying maybe they, who knows, another creator or whatever, or just know there's hope.
yeah,
But there's help out there. But
yeah. Well,
I'm gonna say here, I'm an old teddy bear here. I'll start crying in a minute.
I'm an open book, man. I can tell you anything. Yeah,
Yeah. So you had mentioned that watching the videos helped you during a challenging period. So what exactly, let's chat about that. Is it the difficult times? What got you through? What helped you? Lord, if it's something, heck, if I'd hate to know that I did something then and I've stopped doing it, and, and it helps somebody, and you want to maybe bring something back, I want to make sure I do something good for folks, So yeah,
yeah,
take us through that time, Tyler. I'm really intrigued in hearing that.
yeah. So first off, I bought into you before anything
Yeah,
else, right? Just who you are. Um, seemingly I've never met you in person, but it seems like who you are outside of your screen is the same exact way you are when you're in front of a camera. But truthfully, I bought into you, and I
yeah,
was intrigued. I was intrigued just by you and your love for cooking, and I would hear how you would mention your mom in quite a few different videos you'd bring on. I almost call her Mare Bear because I've always heard you call her Mare Bear, but I've always, what I'm saying is, cooking aside,
Yeah.
Blackstone aside, I bought into you, right?
Yeah.
I've always kind of clicked with you, even though we've never met in person. I've always clicked with you like I did my uncle.
Yeah.
And when I first discovered you, late 2019, it was maybe several months or so before my 5-year-old was born. My 5-year-old was born late December of 2019, and I had gotten the Blackstone shortly after that because I was watching your videos for several months already,
Yeah.
and I was at home on baby bonding, and I was already getting into Blackstone, and that was just solely because of you. And my youngest, his milestones weren't hitting. He wasn't meeting his milestones a lot, and he's now been diagnosed autistic. He's a level 2 autistic, and it was the first time for my wife and I to be really, going through that.
Yeah.
And so there was just a lot of unknowns in our life, and then so
Yeah.
I very quickly resorted to doing things that I enjoyed, right? Magic and cooking on the Blackstone very quickly became one of those things,
Yeah.
and it'll all come full circle here in a minute. Bear with me, but around the same time, I had cut ties with my parents, and so I haven't spoken to my parents in a very long time now. But I was going through a lot of grieving, right? I was grieving a lot. I was grieving the loss of my parents. I was grieving the unknowns of what was going to happen with my kiddo. My wife had pretty rough postpartum depression. Not like the old classic cases where like hitting the baby and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't wish that on anybody, but she was going through a rough time, and so just like most guys, we find ourselves to have to bear that, on our shoulders without a shrug. And
Yeah.
I very quickly learned that when I watched you, it made me reminisce. It made me reminisce a lot, watching my mom cook, watching my Uncle Larry cook, your humor. I remember one time you and your brother went live.
Yeah.
I think it was like a Christmas special or Thanksgiving special. And
Yeah. We generally go. I generally would go live on a Christmas or Thanksgiving and Christmas. This past Christmas I didn't, and man, I didn't realize how many people look forward to those lives on Christmas.
yeah, we like the behind the scenes, but
Yeah.
I mentioned that because the first time I saw your brother and you together, I dang near shed a tear. I mean, it just brought up so many memories of me just hanging out in the backyard with my uncle and even my brothers, and just
Yeah.
just shooting the spit, and I found myself very comfortable watching your videos,
Yeah.
and it just made me feel good. I mean, when you talk about a fan, and I'm sure you got thousands of them like this, but I get that notification, and I watch it,
Yeah. Yeah.
even if it's not a recipe that I don't really see myself making, or I just
Yeah.
watch it for you. I just watch it, right?
Yeah. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any questions so far? Sorry.
No, no. I'm
Uh,
just soaking this in. I'm just like I'm sitting here thinking. I'm like, man, I should have went live. I should have. I need to get my brother on more. I need to. There's a lot of things going on. So I can actually. Yeah, I got a little bit of an excuse for the Christmas thing, but I'm not going to make it about that
I
for right
was
now. But
I wasn't trying to gaslight you, Hussey.
no, no, it's just kind of So my brother had shoulder surgery on the
Mm,
23rd of January or of December, and so he was kind of gimpy, and so he got over to the house a little bit later, and I had actually had breakfast already kind of done when he got over there, and so it just kind of wasn't a good. Normally we're cooking together and all that kind of stuff, and this year it was just slightly different. So
yeah.
yeah, we didn't go live, but well, that's man, you had a lot going on in a very short amount of time there, and I can kind of relate. I'm not 100% for sure, no way. That's a lot, but as a guy, man, you put a lot on your shoulders, and you want to fix things, and then whenever you can't fix things, that's tough.
Yeah.
Um, And
Yeah.
there's multiple things you can't fix, really can make you struggle, I bet.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just want to say I'm sorry that you went through that, but I think you've came out very well, I must say. But yeah, that's interesting that it just I just found it just to have me and Mike on, my brother, or the kids on, or just never really think about how it can relate to somebody.
Yeah.
Um,
It's, sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Um,
I'm
it's,
just again I'm just some of this is I'm just like, wow, you've really opened my eyes to a lot of things, and I'm thankful. So
yeah, and and I'm thankful for your channel, man, honestly. There was a lot of unknowns with my youngest, and um,
yeah,
you were a great escape for me, right?
yeah,
As corny as that sounds, man, you really were. Because, like I said, I didn't have a family to necessarily, you know, outside of my wife, of course. I didn't have a family myself to really call into or seek advice from, and not that I did either one of those for you, but
yeah,
you just made me. You brought out a lot of good. What do they call them? Dopamine hits for me. It's
yeah,
as much as I'm okay with them not in my family in my life anymore, everybody that I lost in my life, that doesn't mean I don't miss them sometimes, right?
sure, yeah,
I know, and with my little one, oh man, it was rough. I don't know if you know anybody with kid on the spectrum or
I
anything like
do.
that. Yeah.
I got a couple friends. Yeah, I know it's tough, and I always think I was like, well, I think that's now this is me. It's just God's way of putting him into a special people's hands that can handle it. That's what I think. I have a real good friend. They have their little boy. I don't know what I can't remember the spectrum is on, but they're great with them. Not to say they haven't struggled. I've seen them. They've been very frustrated, and
Oh yeah.
but I think they're the perfect people to have that boy, and he's a special boy. Deep down. So
Yeah,
um,
and I see it the same way. And it took me a long time to learn, but I'm glad that I was chosen to keep this little boy safe,
yeah,
and my wife too, clearly,
yeah,
because
yeah,
truthfully, I don't think anybody else could. My kid, anyway.
yeah.
And
That's that's the best way to describe it. I just feel like you were hand chosen, for that guy, and
and
you'll be rewarded, you know.
I'm a big advocate for this stuff, man. And to be honest with you, not that I ever downplayed it or never really tried to understand the hardships and mentally that people go through. I had never gone through it until I've gone through it, and so
Yeah,
there was just things that really nobody can prepare for, and until you go through it,
yeah,
you don't know, right? And
yeah, oh yeah,
um, you know, finding him services was a pain. Um, and I'm sure you're going to have listeners to this podcast who have gone through this,
yeah,
and who are going to relate to. They shout about early intervention is key for these kids on the spectrum, and then in the same sentence they'll tell you we won't listen to you until your kid is 3 years old. And
mm,
so I went door to door. I went door to door, and I did everything I could to get my boy services as early as we could, and I had him
yeah,
services before he ever turned 3,
nice,
and
yeah,
now he's in services at our home, 6 hours a day, 6 days a week.
wow,
Yeah,
that's pretty nice. That's phenomenal, actually.
yeah, for sure.
Well, like I said, it's in his right hands for providing in many ways, emotionally, financially, everything. So yeah, it's right in the right hands, and I know for a fact you're doing a heck of a job.
I appreciate that, and I can't do anything without my wife, man. And you can't be Hussey without your wife, and I can't be me without my wife.
For
And
sure, man. A lot of this, I try to keep as much of this away from family time as much as possible. But behind the scenes, she's wrangling kids. Most of the time, if I'm got to go somewhere, I got to go to Florida next week, so she'll, gotta. That's a lot of burden on her. So yeah, it's behind closed doors. There's still a lot of work that happens.
yeah,
It's a lot of people just sees the video that comes out. It looks polished, or well, not polished, but you know what I'm saying. It don't look like Fido's butt, but it looks okay. It's shot in 4K, right?
even
um,
even though you include bloopers now,
yeah,
it's still not all the bloopers. There's still a lot of bloopers people don't see. A lot of
yeah, there
behind the
is,
scenes.
there is. Yeah, I try to Jacob sometimes. I don't know. He and I kind of go back and forth, and he'll say, "Well, you didn't really have many bloopers." And I was like, well, it's not really like me messing up, but like just general, just messing around, just throw it in there. But yeah, I try to, I think my videos were probably a little bit longer than what they are now. And yeah, everybody's attention span's gone down so much. But I think it's kind of coming around where people are even like podcasts. People are digging podcasts. They're listening longer. So, I have thought about going back to more of like really almost like what I used to do, almost one take and just let it roll and just get everything. But
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
sometimes it's tough, especially on like long cooks.
Back in the day when you'd be on your I don't know if it was your back patio or your front porch back at your old place too, when you had that surround table, and man, you'd be out there straight up like off the cuff. You'd be out there, you could see your breath coming out, and you're like, it's
Yeah,
snowing, it's freezing out here, but I'm gonna make
yeah,
some. I'm making some Reese sausage and some
yeah,
bacon and some eggs, and you know you
yeah,
you you just did it, and you did it for the love of it, you know.
yeah. That was cool. So that's one thing that's changed is I'm able to shoot during the day, right? So or in the morning. I used to shoot what we ate pretty much. And now it's gotten to where, I pretty much I just shoot videos, and we'll eat some of it. But used to, it was just, it would be, get home from work and start rolling. I didn't have much equipment at all, and I would just have to shoot it, and I was like, all right, I got to get this in here. We got to eat, and so it's good that I have a day to shoot. I shoot on Fridays,
Yeah,
but it does take out the little bit of a personal connection of this is what we're going to have for dinner right here in a minute for my family of four.
yeah,
But um, might need to do that more often. I think people could relate to that a lot more because that's who I want to relate to, man. I just want to relate to that. I ain't nothing special, I'm just a dude just trying to put some food on the table for his family and kids.
Hussey, Hussey unplugged. There
That's
you go.
right. That's right.
Hussey unplugged. It's
That's right.
this real life meal that we're about to eat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, I love the quality of your new videos, though. It's I mean, truthfully, I mean, just as a fan and someone who cares, I love to see the growth.
Yeah.
But honestly, even if your videos were still the same in 2025, if they were still just you and one camera and your mic going out because you forgot to charge
Plug it
it,
in.
I'd still watch. I'd still
Oh, what
watch.
the heck? What did I used to do? Well, I was a tightwad, and I bought a corded, wired lav mic. And what would happen was I would step on it, and it would come undone, and I didn't know it.
Yeah, yeah,
That was before I went wireless and all that. But yeah, I would get tangled up, and it would come undone, and I wouldn't know it. I wouldn't know it until I went to edit the darn thing, and I'd be
yeah.
like, "Oh crap, man! Freaking thing come unplugged."
I want to reiterate something, bring some clarity. Is just me grieving the loss of my family, dealing with my youngest's journey. My wife was going through it. She was going through it, and watching you just help me stay grounded When somebody's depressed or just burnt out on life, you know, we tend to forget. People get burnt out because not because of what we do, it's because we forget why we do it sometimes,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I see that. Yeah. That's a good.
And so
Good.
I would watch you, and it would remind me, like, you know what? All this is just, I mean, because you would also talk about your faith quite often, and you would shout people out. Um, Maybe somebody, a viewer who was going through things, or um, you would talk about going to church on Sundays. You would make so many videos when you were still in church clothes. You're like, yeah, I just
Yeah.
go back from church, and just watching you and just talking about your love for. Sorry, I had a floater in front of me, but it just kept me grounded in the sense that everybody goes through it.
Oh yeah.
What I'm going through, it's don't take it personal,
Yeah.
right? Because I tended to take things personal, and I used to think, why me? Why my wife? Why my kid?
Yeah.
And um, it was nice to have somebody like you to watch who was just seemingly just very level headed, and you seem to be able to put things on the back burner and prioritize, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
We all have our own ways of coping, man. And truthfully, you were a big one for me. You were a big one. I've been watching you for a long time.
Yeah. Well, that means a lot. There's. I'm not gonna say I tiptoe around my faith. I don't really like, throw it out there, but I want people to know that, that I do have faith. I haven't always, and there's a testimony behind that. Just probably since getting back into church is just really it helped me become a better me than anything that I've ever done.
Hmm.
That's the one thing that I tell people, that if you believe, you ultimately become a better person. And what's the bad in that?
Yeah.
And I've gone through some loss in my life, losing both my mom and my dad, and aunts, uncles, that kind of thing. And the faith, I need to do much better. I always say, I always need to do better, with faith. But my church family has been just a blessing to me. My wife's been a blessing to me. My brother's a blessing to me. It's just me and my brother left now. So, but yeah, the faith. That's sometimes what you got, man. It's faith, and that everything's going to be all right. And
Hmm.
and I have no doubt in the shadow of my mind is, if you have faith and you work towards a goal, and it could be anything, that you'll be all right. And as a believer, right, I feel like, even if I was to be struck down tomorrow, I'll be all right, so
Hmm.
um, that's just kind of the way I haven't always been that way.
Yeah.
I questioned a lot of stuff whenever I thought I was a smart guy, and questioned things. But at the end of the day, when I came back, it's just been good. It made me a better person overall. But I don't try to push that on nobody. I just try to just be me. I'm not anybody special. Like I said, we got everybody's got struggles, but
Yeah. You were
you
you
know,
were you were sorry, go ahead.
I just, it's just one of those things where you just gotta keep showing up, and you got to show up for your kids. They need a person in their life to look up to know what to do.
Yeah.
And it's on our shoulders, and it's just try to be the best as I can. But man, I fail a lot, bro, and I don't show any of that, the failures. But there's failures. Failures are made a lot by me, and a lot of lessons I've learned. But
We don't
main thing is just keep showing up, bro.
yeah, we don't live this life to be perfect. We live
Yeah,
this life to be morally correct, and live with integrity, and strap up our boots every day and give it our best
yeah,
shot, man. And one thing I've learned with having having a kid on the spectrum is patience. Boy,
Yeah.
I've learned patience, man. I've learned so much about teaching children. Yeah, it's. I remember, and I mentioned this just because you said you're not perfect. You know, I assume you're just like any other dad. Sometimes you want to smack the kids upside the head and say, "Go to your room." I'm not implying I do. I'm not implying you do either. But it's just it's natural within a human to get upset at our kids sometimes. You know, one thing I learned with having a kid on the spectrum is patience. And what I mean is if I can teach my 11-year-old something one way and boom, clicks, which actually my 11-year-old is actually autistic too, diagnosed autistic. It's a genetic thing,
Hmm.
but he's much older, much further along in his journey, you know, so, and they were just two entirely different kids, but I go to try to teach my 5-year-old that, you know, or
Mm-hmm.
early on, my 3-year-old, when he was 3, I'd get angry. Not at him, but I would just get angry.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, "Oh, I don't get it. Why can't he do this? Why can't this happen?" And then I learned very quickly, maybe he's not the slow learner. Maybe I am. He's telling me in his own way, "Dad, I don't get it.
Yeah.
I learn differently," you know?
That's a good point. It's like you're actually being um, trained or guided, you know,
That boy is, he's
to
taught me.
learn or to teach you. That's right. Yeah.
He's taught me so
Yeah.
much, man. And I wanted to reiterate this too. I found comfort in your videos because you reminded me of all the good memories that I actually had growing up. You know, just out in the backyard and cooking. And truthfully, I didn't have a lot of those good memories. I didn't have
Yeah.
a lot. You know, I grew up in a household with a mom and dad most of my childhood, but it wasn't unicorns and rainbows, right?
Yeah.
I had parents I wish would split up, you know,
Yeah.
but watching you, it brought those good feelings back, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
and I didn't have a lot of those. I didn't have a dad that really taught me a lot, but I just wanted you to know that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's another. That's a thing we talk about. Like I got a men's group that I'm a part of it, and we just talk about just generational. Not a curse. It's not a curse really, but like trying to reverse that, right? You now that you're an adult and a father and all that kind of stuff, you knew what you went through, and you want to you said, well, I got to reverse this, right, for my kids, right, for this generation, and you see it, you witness it, and that's not no fault on those other folks, right? They Lord knows what they were probably fighting some crap that we don't know anything about, you know. This is just,
Hmm.
folks. It really makes me just like, because again, you know how you're a man, I'm a man. You just want to fix things, and man, there's people are just broken everywhere. You know, it's like,
Hmm.
gosh, I want to help this fella. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
just there's something there that we have no idea about. You just wish they'd just talk to you. Maybe you could help them, help them, and they don't know, because if they knew that, maybe they would help, get some help, you know. But
Yeah.
man, a lot of my feels going on here.
Yeah. Yes. Sorry, man. I know it's definitely not your typical content, but hey, I do cook a lot. We can talk cooking too.
No, man, no, it's good because like I said, there's so many people. We talk about it all the time in my men's group, that in churches people are just broken and just they need, they're lost, and some people can't find something stationary to grab onto, so they're just kind of going through wandering. But
Yeah,
so, dude, if somebody can hear this, the other day, I don't know if you caught the episode with Tommy from Gallery Backyard Barbecue.
I did.
He and I were just talking, and afterwards he said, man, Hussey, we kind of got off on a little bit of a weird tangent about just being, being positive and just, pushing forward and just being a good person. And I was like, bro, I'll lose if I lose X amount and one person finds something great and positive and maybe it'll help them some way. Shoot, man, that's a win for me,
Yeah.
And sure enough, he sent me it was like a web it was a messenger, like a Facebook Messenger DM from one of Tommy's guys fans. It's like, Tom, I heard the podcast with Hussey, and I just want to say, man, thanks for that. You really, really helped me out of a little pickle there, a bad situation and going through some stuff. And he says, and Tommy says, you're right, Hussey. We reached that one person, and I think he got another one too. And so it made me feel good, So
yeah,
it all comes around for from food, which is cool.
Yeah, food is the center here still, man. I would turn your videos on for the food too. Don't get me wrong. I love your recipes, man. I've made your pimento cheese.
Oh yeah.
I remember one time.
Cheese.
Oh man, and you do it right too. You do it right. That's another thing my mom would make, pimento cheese. And I made your stuffed burgers. I love burgers, man. If I can have a burger every day, I can live that way. But
yeah.
I owe you magic trick. You ready?
I'm down, bro.
All right. See, it's with a coin.
Got a quarter.
Okay. That was a little $50.
Oh,
Magician's
$50. Okay.
Yeah. We're always a little fancy. I have one there.
Okay. Yeah.
And I have another one. Okay. I keep another one. It's actually in my beard. I'll try to do this. I'll try to keep it in frame here. Watch. Hands are a little clammy. The last one, you'll see it go.
What the heck, man?
I owed you that
What the
one.
heck? It looked like I'm looking at my screen here. My camera's there. But I'm just sitting there. I'm just like, where's it going? Like, it's crazy. That's crazy, man.
You have good eyesight?
I do have pretty good eyesight. Yeah.
Okay. If I were to ask you, which way is the pin pointing? Which way is it pointing?
Up or north. Yeah.
And you say that just because it's the point, right?
The point.
The nib.
Yeah.
Okay. Which way is it pointing?
Down.
Okay. And you can answer in first person if you want. Which way is it pointing?
My left.
Okay. So if I were to cover it, which way is it pointing?
Still my
Still.
left.
Okay. So this isn't necessarily a magic trick, but I'm testing your eyes. One thing about magic is we test the limitations of our own capabilities, right? So if I were to turn this pin, you just have to catch me, okay? You have to catch me to get the cap off one end and stick it to the other. You just have to tell me which way is it pointing, okay?
Yeah.
Which way is it pointing?
My right.
I'll do it slow. Which way is it pointing?
Right now.
Okay. What about now?
It's my left.
What about now?
I mean, ideally it's my left, but I bet you're gonna show me different.
Yeah. So see, I switched it again.
Yeah.
Right? If I were to do, I'll put the cap on.
Let's see.
See, now I'll do it. I'll do it one more time. This time I'll add a visual barrier there. Which way is it pointing? Yeah, no, it's down. See?
Oh yeah. Okay.
At this point, it's just not really a magic trick, but something cool that I use.
Just yeah. You got me.
Yeah.
You got me. I thought I had good eyesight.
No, you do. It's a trick. It's a trick. Your brain wasn't lying to you.
I'm getting older though, man. My ophthalmologist says that at some point I'll be needing some glasses, I'm sure. But last time I was 20/20 in one eye and 20/15 in the other. But that's been a while.
I don't know if you could say on camera, but how old are you?
45.
Oh, okay.
I'm an old
man,
sucker,
you're still young. Nah, I'm 31.
31. Wow. Yeah, I got started a little later in life. I've always been a late bloomer on everything, so But yeah, um, turned 45, and I'll be 46. Yeah, I'll be 46 this year. Oof, jeez Louise, almost 50. My
Yeah.
back hurts right now just thinking about it, Tyler.
You gotta keep you gotta keep up the posture when you're in front of that black stone.
Yeah, it's tough. It's
What?
tough.
You have any other questions for me?
Yeah. I got a few more. Where are we at
Yeah.
as far as time? We're at an hour. Yeah,
I'm
we
not.
were in that one segment for a while. How much do you got? Any more? How much time you got?
I have all the time you need.
I mean, I had wrote down a few notes, and I got just a loose script here. We kind of went through what got you through. I'm kind of interested. You said you got a Blackstone.
Hmm.
I was interested what Blackstone you got. Was it a 28, 36? Let's do that first. Yeah, which Blackstone, or do you have a different one now?
I still, my first Blackstone that I bought was a 36. I still have that one. Still holds a season very well. Um, and I have 36, and I have a 28 inch now. I have
Oh
the
wow.
20. I have the 28 inch two burner. Just because I bought the 36 because you had one, but I didn't really need one that big.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I have both 28 and
You know, I
36.
always tell people, you know, this is me. You know, people ask, what size should I get, Hussey? I always tell people, get whatever you can afford, both financially and space. You know, if you don't have a very big, you know, patio or wherever, you know, a 28 will work just fine. I just like having a lot more space, especially if I'm cooking for a bunch of people. You know, you have plenty of space to roam. You know,
Much better
but
zones.
yeah, yeah,
Those
yeah. You
zones,
got
yeah, it's
much more flexibility. Yeah, you're right.
yeah, much
You're right.
better. I mean, the weird thing about it is even with the 36 inch, I rarely will have all three burners going anyway,
Yeah,
right? And if I do have that third burner on, it's set to low,
yeah.
and you can't really do that with the other sizes, with
Hmm.
the same capacity of food anyway.
Right, right. They do
Yeah.
make a There's a 28 inch model. I can't remember. I've never had a 28, and it has three burners, and I think it gives you a little bit more flexibility, but it might run a little bit more hot too with that third burner. So, but what is there any kind of? I know you said you like burgers, but what's that one recipe that either I made or anybody made that you have just fallen in love with as for you or for your family?
Smash burgers is the number one thing. And,
That's
and
y'all's
and I know
jam,
that
huh?
burgers in general, but I'm in California. Smash burgers
Yeah,
are huge here. I mean, I know
yeah,
now they're pretty huge globally, but that's probably the most common thing to where I can make it and nobody's ever complaining. My wife will never say I'm not in the mood for that. She'll eat it. You know,
yeah.
like same thing with the kids.
Now,
Yeah.
this is the big question right here, man. What kind of cheese?
Oh, come
I'm
on,
not gonna
Hussey.
judge. I'm not gonna judge.
All right. I hope not American.
My man,
It's
dang
it
right,
is
boy.
it's the undisputed king of burger cheeses.
Man, I want
It's
to
the
come through that.
undisputed.
I want to come through the dang. Every time somebody talks trash about me using American cheese, that plastic cheese, people regurgitate what they hear from other people.
It's
And
cheese.
if you read the back of the Kraft cheese, the American cheese, Kraft Deluxe, it's cheese. It's cultures and
Enzymes.
enzymes and citric acid, or not citric
Yeah.
acid, but sodium citrate, which makes things melt. That's it.
Yep, that's it. I've seen
So
I've seen Kenji Lopez on YouTube make American cheese homemade.
yes,
That's
Kenji's my
that's
man.
that's that's cheese, guys. And nothing melts like it. I don't care who you are.
No.
I'll put it in my eggs. I'll put it in leftovers just to make things a little tastier. I'll put it on
Yeah,
burgers. I mean, everything.
I like cheddar cheese, but cheddar cheese on a burger sucks. You know?
If Yeah, I'm the guy. If we go to a restaurant and they're like, "What kind of cheese you want on your burger?" I say, "What kind?" And if they say,
Yeah.
"Oh, we have pepper jack, Colby, sharp, cheddar," and I'm like, "Do you have American? Do you have American?"
Now Havarti's not too bad. It melts pretty good. I don't know if have you ever tried that.
Not on a burger, but I've had it for Havarti.
Yeah, Havarti's pretty
Yeah.
good. It melts. It melts really, really well. But yeah, I'm glad to know that I'm not the only one out there. I don't think we are. There's a lot more other people out there. I just don't want to admit it.
Yeah, but you will get me with this though. I don't like mayo.
All right, that
Now,
concludes our. No, I'm just kidding.
uh, and
Nice
I've
talking to you,
never,
Tyler. Peace.
I've never had Duke's mayo just because
Yeah,
we don't have it on the West Coast.
yeah.
At least yet. We have QP mayo in every dang grocery store now.
QP's not bad.
I've never
Um,
tried it because I don't like mayo, but I mean I like mayo based things. Like I'll make a homemade ranch and use mayo and sour cream
yeah,
and potato salad. I just don't like it on a ball like that, you know.
yeah. I don't know. Whatever. I gotta have mayonnaise. QP mayo is actually I like it. A lot of people. Some of my stuff I try to just I over embellish things. Like growing up, my mama she loved Dukes, but if Dukes wasn't on sale and we needed mayonnaise, Kraft made its way into the house.
Oh yeah.
Um, but it was on sale, and she had some coupons. So you don't mess with my mom if she got some coupons and
Kroger
it's on
brand, yeah.
sale, and we'll have that. But it was either Kraft or it was Duke's. Hellman's is good too, but yeah, I don't know. And I think my wife she don't like mayonnaise on her burgers and stuff either. So I think it's just an acquired taste. I'll let you slide this time. That's all right.
It's not state law here.
Gotta have
Uh,
state law.
Mustard has to be French's though.
French's mustard. I can side with that. I like a French's mustard as well.
Yep.
So what is your smash when your burgers you do smash where you do a double, single, triple, and then what's your toppings?
I do both doubles and singles. I usually make a burger sauce, kind of like a copycat, you know, In and Out. You know, I'm on the West Coast, so we have In and Out here, you know. So,
Now what do you use for? Do you put mayonnaise in that?
oh yeah,
Well,
yeah.
you put mayonnaise on your burger.
I know, but you add so much to it,
Yeah,
you know, and
massive. Yeah,
frankly, I haven't even tried mayo in its raw form in so many years. I could like it, who knows?
yeah,
But
yeah,
um, I certainly eat things with mayo in it for sure. But
yeah.
condiments, usually, I love grilled onions or raw onions. I keep it simple. I prefer
Yeah.
a shredded lettuce over a big leafy lettuce.
Absolutely. I love that shredded lettuce, man. It adds something to it. I believe much better than a thick burger. Like a just old grilled burger back. Long back in the day. Old leafy lettuce. Onion, lettuce,
Yeah.
tomato. It's just something it slapped. It was good, but
Oh yeah. Do you guys have In and Out there?
we don't. I did go to In and Out when I was in Utah for Blackstone, and it was pretty good. Fries, okay. The burger was good. I got mine like what is it, like animal style or something like that.
Oh yeah. Oh
And then
yeah.
that burger sauce they got was really, really good. Marin, my daughter, she loves making the burger sauce every time to put on her burgers
Hmm.
as well. And so I was like, you want to make your burger sauce? You're like, yeah. So she digs that. And, typical fare. The mayonnaise, ketchup, mustard, and sweet relish, and
Yep.
sometimes she'll put a little hot sauce in there too, maybe.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's good.
Let me see here. Yeah, I veered all away from my script here.
Sorry.
Oh no, that's fine. That's fine. What like flavor profiles? I know you're in California. There's a lot of like Mexican influence there. There's a lot of like you got your tri-tips, your Santa Maria kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
What kind of profiles is your jam and what you love? Is there, or is it just burgers?
Oh no, my wife, she loves Mexican food, and I don't care who you are,
Yeah,
California, we've got the best Mexican food. I've had Mexican food on the East Coast. I've had Mexican food in Texas.
yeah,
I'm not saying it was bad, but
yeah,
I mean, if you think about it, you know, we're the closest to Mexico, and we get a lot of people coming from Mexico straight here
yeah,
to California, just crossing over that border and making their food and selling it here, and it is the best.
yeah.
And so we have a lot of Mexican influence in the house, for sure.
Yeah, I got a buddy that he's an internet buddy. He lives in California. I talk to him often. His name's Eddie, and he lives over near San Diego. And like carne asada, that was like born just right over the border of from California, and we've Americans have just totally like cannibalized carne asada. It's like he was like, dude, he's like, this carne asada that you see these recipes for, it's never none of that. It's just salt and lemon, and now if you put lemons in your Mexican dish, I put lemons in mine one time. My Mexican friend, that's what they did. Man, I got flamed so bad because I didn't use lime. They were like, "What are you doing?" And that's what Eddie said. He said over here, I can't remember the city where carne asada, came from, but it was like flat meat, and it's just simple ingredients, lemon and salt, and that's it. And then over over an open fire, and they put that in the tacos, and we've. These marinades you see now, it's just like there's cilantro, there's soy sauce, there's olive oil and all this other stuff, and it's like not what it is.
Yeah, which tastes good. I've had the marinades that had like orange juice in it, soy sauce in it, and
Yep.
do you lose the authenticity? You can't really call that traditional, no,
Yep.
but it's still good. It's
It is
still
good.
really good,
Yep.
and I'll back that up every day. If something tastes good, I can make a really good cheesesteak. I won't call it Philly cheesesteak because I'm in California, but I'll tell you right now, it's still really good.
Yeah.
You
I've had their cheesesteaks there, man. They aight. I feel like mine's just as good. That's like you said, it was good, but was it like life changing? I don't know.
Did you get it whiz? That's what they say
I
in
did.
Philly.
Yeah. Got it with
See,
whiz, yeah.
I made my own whiz just from a roux, had some dried mustard, some cream. Oh, it was so good,
You
so
use
good.
cheddar? I mean American cheese or Cooper Sharp American?
I used American. I went
Just
to
American, yeah.
the market and got a block of American, shredded it,
Yeah.
added it, which is how my mom used to actually make pimento and cheese.
Oh.
She would go to the store and get a block of American and a
Oh.
block of cheddar. She would shred the American, so it's just shredded American cheese. It's not sliced,
Mm.
and she would make it with cheddar cheese and American, and God, it was so good.
I didn't think about that. That probably,
Yeah.
it makes it nice and creamy on top of because
Oh
you
boy,
put cream
does it?
cheese in it, and man, I bet
Especially
that is good.
if you put it on something hot, then you get
Yeah,
that. You get the
it melts
ooziness.
gooey.
Oh, so good,
Might have to do a pimento cheeseburger soon and
man. So
make it
good.
your way.
Yeah.
So, is there any dish that you've made recently that turned out so well that you wanted to wave your magic wand over it and make it reappear for dinner every night? You
Yeah.
like how I put that magic
Yeah.
twist on that?
That was good. That was good. Yeah. It wasn't on a Blackstone though.
That's
It
okay.
was it was on my Ninja wood fire grill.
Oh, really?
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you know my buddy CJ? Have you watched his videos?
CJ's cooking show. Yeah. I've gone live. I've gone live with him on Instagram too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had him on. He was my first guest. He does a lot on the Ninja. Wood
Oh,
fire.
does he?
He does a lot on Ninja. Yeah, he does a lot of stuff.
Yeah. I'm still new to it. I've only had it a couple months,
Yeah,
and it uses pellets. Just like my big pellet grill does. Which those aren't smokers; those are grills that
yeah,
puts out a little bit of smoke from pellets. And if you get it just right, you're gonna have a good smoke flavor profile. But it's not the only way you ever get it to taste like from a real wood smoker where you're stoking the fire and
yeah,
things like that. You're gonna have to add liquid smoke and smoke tubes and all that other stuff. But what I liked about the wood fire grill, which the meal was just a basic steak. It was a New York strip steak that I smoked it. I smoked it, which they cook so fast in there, but it's got a hood on it clearly, and it only holds this much pellets, but it's so contained. Flavor, the smoke intensity, it's
yeah.
so strong, and I love it. Honestly, it's the closest thing I've ever had to a real smoke flavor without stoking wood or stoking the
Right.
fire, adding wood. It was so good. And so anytime I can make just a basic steak and some air fried potatoes because it's got an air fryer basket too, and man, so good.
Yeah, yeah, those are pretty neat devices. I've seen those before. I've never messed with one. I have a Ninja foodie that we use from time to time. But yeah, CJ does a lot with his wood fire. He does barbecue in it all the time, and he's even got some like cookbooks with it as well.
He's a good guy. I like CJ.
Yep, yep, and he's in California. I don't know how far. I don't know where. I don't know where are you exactly?
I'm in the Central California.
Central California. He's
Yeah.
shoot. Where is he?
Wait, are we talking about the same CJ? Is it CJ from Blackstone?
No, cooking with CJ.
I thought you meant CJ's first cooking show.
No. Cooking,
Oh,
this is CJ's cooking with CJ. Yeah, he's in California. Yeah, sorry about that.
gotcha. No,
Yeah.
you're fine. But no, I actually I haven't seen him, but I'll look him up. But I've gone live with CJ from CJ's first cooking show
Oh,
from
have you?
Blackstone. Yeah.
Yeah, I like him. I'll be hanging out with him next week. I'm going down to his place and filming some content.
Tell him you did a podcast with me.
I will. I'm going to
Yeah,
try to get him on too. Yeah, it'd be pretty cool.
yeah, yeah. That's definitely the mill right now
Yep.
that my wife is hooked on too. That and some.
Man, you can't go wrong with it. So New York strip, y'all like a strip over like a ribeye or a fillet?
You know, I like to remove barriers when I eat. I love the flavor of ribeye. I don't like the fact that even if you get a really good quality ribeye, you're still cutting off so much fat, and I just feel
Yeah.
like you're not getting as much steak.
Right.
But
Right.
I can't knock the flavor of a ribeye. Tastes delicious, but
Right.
I like a strip just because it's what you see is what you get right there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I hate that gristle that runs on that one side of the New York strip. That's the only thing that irritates me. It's that
Yeah,
thing always having to cut it out. Yeah.
yeah. It's better than it's better than some other options.
Oh,
I'm
for
not
sure.
against I'm not against top sirloin by any means. Super lean, healthy, but
Yeah.
you gotta do so much of those things to make them tender, and
That's
at
what we
least I
grew up
do.
with, man. We didn't have when we eat steak, that's what it was, old sirloin, old top sirloin.
Yeah, yeah.
Thing was you'd be chewing on that thing forever. Well, I tell you what, we're going to kind of wrapping things down here. Appreciate you being on. I like to kind of do this with guests where I call it like rapid fire questions, and
Yeah.
they're just situational things. I got a few here I'd like to ask you. So, grilling or smoking or grilling, smoking, or griddling.
Griddling.
What are your favorites? Griddling.
Griddling.
I must say, I am with you. Favorite comfort food?
Burger.
Burger. I knew that's what that was going to
Burgers.
be.
Yeah.
What's one kitchen gadget you absolutely can't live without?
I'm not into kitchen gadgets, but good quality 8 or 10 inch chef's knife.
Yeah. What kind of what's your favorite chef's knife?
Um, I bought I don't have nothing too fancy, but I keep it nice and sharp, and I keep it up well. It's a Hexclad. I bought Hexclad
Okay.
pans a couple
Yeah.
years back, and I bought their chef's knife with it. It's
Yeah.
a good solid knife. I like it.
Good. Do you like those pans?
Oh boy, I love those pans.
I've thought about getting them. I got a set of Calphan pans now that are. It's about time to get rid of them, and I'm just like looking around, figuring out what my options are.
Yeah, at least my opinion, worth it. They're
Yeah.
worth it. I mean,
Cool.
not non-toxic. You can scratch it.
Yeah. What's the best magic trick to wow dinner guests?
It's a good question. Dinner guests, probably something with cards. I do a lot with cards. Yeah, cards are my bread and butter for sure.
Gotcha. If you could share a meal and maybe a magic show with any famous chef or magician, who would it be?
I'd want to go to the diner down the street from the Magic Castle in Hollywood and have dinner with a magician. He's passed now by the name of Ricky J.
Ricky J.
He's Ricky J. I'd
What
do
was he?
anything
What
to
was
do
kind
that.
of he known for?
He was a magic historian, wonderful deception artist. He wrote several books, Cards as Weapons, Lured Pigs, and Fireproof Women. He was a really good card sharp, and he's actually on my wall in my house. I
I
mean,
got you.
that's how important the
Nice.
man is to me.
Good. Ricky J, I have to look into that. I'm always interested in different industries and things like that.
Yeah.
So what's ahead for you, Tyler? Are you got any big shows coming up? Anything you might want to add to your cooking arsenal? Anything you might want to try to cook or learn? What's next for you, buddy?
I do have a big keynote speech coming up, which I'm doing magic there, and so I'm polishing up my lecture notes and things like that. Cooking wise, my wife and I, we just started a Instagram page, and it's called Big Back Approved. So Big Back Approved, and I can send you the name if you want, but
Yeah,
or
I'd love to
the
follow you.
handle. We have nothing on there yet. It's so brand new, but
Yeah,
we've gone as far as we have some tripod and some lighting setups, and the whole concept of it is we're a couple whose main focus is just raising our kids,
yeah,
and it's time to get back on our own personal health journeys, and they're online that's just flooded with all sort of high protein, low calorie recipes, right? Which I'm sure some of them are fantastic, but we've made some of them that were great, and we've made some of them that were just ugh, don't
yeah,
even waste your time, you know? And so the concept of this page is to make recipes or make the viral high protein, low calorie recipe so you don't have to, right? And tell them whether or not it's Big Back approved. And we start capturing everything from how many dishes it took to make it,
oh
uh,
yeah,
how much it costs to make it, pretty much all of the things that the typical big back thinks about. I don't want to do that because I don't want to do this, right? It's
right,
all those hurdles we're going through and giving them the tried and tested
yeah.
results.
Yeah, that was actually my next question that I had was, are you starting a YouTube channel or any kind of social media channel, or have you already? I also went like, where you also include your magic with a cooking show, so that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely will. I definitely will.
Yeah,
We have the Instagram. Instagram is live. We've just purchased some services to get a logo made and things like that, which I
yeah,
think that's done now. And so
yeah,
really what's coming is the Instagram page. It's up. I think the only people who follow it is like me and my wife right now. So
yeah. That's all right. You got to start somewhere. I tell
yeah,
everybody, you just got to start. And once you start and you start building that rhythm, start getting those reps in, it'll come along for sure.
yeah.
Yep. Just a few closing out little things here. I mean, here's a great time if you want to plug this, Tyler. You can if for that. And do you have like a web page or anything for like your magic stuff like that? So
Not
folks
anymore.
want to follow you. Not anymore. Okay,
Not anymore. I have a TikTok page that I have one video on,
I got you.
and I do plan on posting on there. And my handle there is therapeutic magician. And really, the story behind that is magic has simply just always been therapeutic for me. Yeah, I'll start posting there more. I have a YouTube channel. I actually have two YouTube channels. 9% of the views on your channel come from a channel that I originally had. Now I have a different channel, and that channel is Painful Combat. And
Okay.
I don't have anything on there, but eventually I will.
Yeah,
Yeah.
gotcha.
I'm also a full-time college student too, so I'm pretty busy.
Dang on, son.
Yeah. I work full-time. I do magic. I raise my family. I teach at the university. I'm a full-time college
Bro,
student.
dang, son.
Yeah.
What do you start? What are you trying to finish up a degree or?
Yeah, I'll be done in June or July. I'll be done.
Oh, good, good.
Yeah, occupational safety and health.
I got you, man. You're quite the busy man. I bet you feel like dang three-legged cat trying to bury a turd in a dang sandbox, ain't you?
Yeah. On my slow days, I feel like that.
Bless it. Bless it.
Yeah.
Well, man, it's been a pleasure having you on. I thanked you earlier for being, number one, wanting to be on the podcast and telling your story. Again, I hope if somebody else out there, maybe wrestling with something and, maybe they can find some kind of comfort in, and it's out there. It don't have to be a video. It don't have to be some Southern North Carolina schmuck, cooking on a black stone. It could be something else, right? So if anything can be noted from our piece is that, there's hope. There's, if you're struggling, there's help out there. There's hope. Then eventually the storm will subside, right? So, but you've always, I see you comment all the time. And so I just want to say, I appreciate it, from the bottom of my heart. So, but,
Yeah.
anything else you want to add, folks listening? Anything and everything, go ahead and take a shot here. I'll get your handles and stuff in the description so people can go and follow you in places wherever you like. And but yeah, anything else you want to add? Let me know.
Yeah. Just thank you for having me on. First and foremost, thank you for dedicating yourself to build such the channel that you have now. Just remember that, people watch for the food, sure, but we watch for you first. And
Yep.
we're just lucky enough that you and we get some other benefits from watching you, but we watch you first. You're the first product we buy into, and
Yep.
I appreciate it. And to anybody else who's struggling with anything, I'm no therapist by any means, but I've definitely been there. Just know that every child lives their own journey, and we just have to find ways to enjoy it with them. 100%.
Well, I appreciate it, sir. Well, y'all, that's it for this episode of Chewing the Fat with Hungry Hussey. A huge thank you to Tyler for dropping by and sharing his story and a little bit of his experience. If you enjoyed this chat, make sure you hit the like button, leave a review, and please share with anybody and everybody. I would sure appreciate that. Until next time, Hungry Hussey's out. Thank you.